Just didn't care. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sidise and I'm so thankful to have all of you here. I'll be forcing myself to read a book that I really want to DNF. And that book is Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. Now, I have been in a reading slump literally since like March. That's January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. 5 months of a horrible reading slump. I had heard so many good things about Intermezzo and it had been staring at me on my shelf for I think 4 months. So I was like, I might as well pick this up. I think it might get me out of my reading slump. Usually by page 100, I'll be into a book or not into it. And so after I got to page like 80 maybe, I started skimming more than reading. I realized that this book might have to be the first book I've ever DNF'd. Now, one thing about me and one slight reading rule I do have for myself is that I never DNF books. I have never DNF'd a book in my like 13 years of being a reader. Anytime I start a book, I just like the feeling of finishing it and I can be like, yes, I read this book, I have an opinion on it. So I thought, why not make a video forcing myself to read it so that A, I'm not breaking my rule, and B, I get to share it with all of you guys. As I stated, I kind of started skimming, so I'm gonna make myself start from page 1. Obviously, my first impression isn't the greatest, so I'm excited to see what it ends up being. I've also decided to have a stopwatch going so that I can know how long it takes me to end up finishing it. The story follows two brothers who are complete opposites. Ivan and Peter, who have both unfortunately just lost their father. Ivan is only 22 years old and just graduating from college, and although he doesn't really know what he wants to do with his life yet, he knows for sure that he is very passionate about competitive chess, so that's what he's been doing. Peter, on the other hand, is over 10 years older than his brother, and he's a very established and respected lawyer in Dublin. As the book follows the two brothers, it tells the story of their grief and their identities. It looks at things like relationships, whether it's through family or romantic connections. I'm really hoping though by the end of this, I don't dig myself deeper into the reading slump, but I have told myself that if I do end up finishing this, I'll allow myself to go to Barnes and Nobles and buy a few new books and maybe even do a 24-hour readathon. So praying that that happens. Alright everyone, I'm now officially ready to start reading. I've got my computer here, I made a matcha, some snacks of course, and the book of the hour. So wish me luck and I'll give you a little bit of an update soon. Hi guys, it is the next day now, and last night I ended up reading for just a little over 2 hours. Anyone else do this? I just use the most absolute random things as bookmarks. I'm literally using the freaking corner of a fruit snacks bag as a bookmark. I'm now 153 pages into the book and I made it to chapter 7. I'm starting to discover more things about the story. I don't really think this is a spoiler, so I'm just gonna say it. Peter is kind of balancing two relationships. The first is a relationship with a woman who's like 20 years old, I want to say. The second relationship though is with the woman who he really loves. He was with her in high school and in college and they rely on each other as if they're still a couple. And so you would ask, why is he not with the woman that he truly loves? And I will definitely say it's getting a little more interesting, so hopefully from here on out it only gets better. Hi guys, so update, it is now nighttime. Well, technically it's the next day because it's 2 a.m. in the morning. Yes, apologies. As of right now, I'm 2.5 hours in. This is actually the first time we've seen the brothers actually like physically interact with each other. They are grabbing lunch and they're talking, which allows you to see more of their dynamic. I have a Spotify playlist for when I'm reading, so I think I'm gonna put that on to just get me going. I don't know how much I'll be reading, but I definitely want to get into the 200s. Okay guys, so it is the next day and I'm back with an update. I am now on page 276 and we are 3 hours and 48 minutes into reading Intermezzo. I'm trying to think of thoughts, but like, I don't know. I feel like I'm not trying to be rude or blunt or anything. I feel like this book just has a little much nothingness in it. One thing I've noticed about Sally Rooney's writing sometimes is that it lacks showing and it's always just telling, and not even telling, more just like describing. So there's a lot of describing of certain things that I feel like we don't need, and it's making the book feel so much slower. I was hoping to be done by yesterday and now it is day 3. I'm hoping it's the last day so I can move on to something better and go get some new things at Barnes and Nobles. Pretty sure I have like 170-ish pages left in the book. I've made myself a drink. Gonna finish off the rest of my Cheez-Its. I do think I'll be able to finish tonight. At least I hope I'll be able to finish tonight. Hello everyone. It is somehow 2 days since when I finished the book, and I've just been too lazy to film like a little conclusion outro, but I'm ready now. I finished Intermezzo, and I will say just before page 300 it starts getting really interesting, and it's when a lot of the characters meet for the first time and we have like really cool new dynamics, actually seeing them interact with each other. I just feel like the first 275 pages was a lot of explanation of things that I would see as like mental thoughts. Like, you know how almost everyone has like the voice in their head, like when you're not actually talking to someone but like just what you're thinking. I feel like the first 250 pages is us getting that out of 3 characters, and for me, I just didn't care. No quotation marks in this book, but it gets really easy to read and understand. So upon finishing the book, I was like, oh my gosh, let me go back and look at normal people. So I grabbed it off of my shelf and I I'm pretty sure I gave this a 4-star, and I was like, what is like the reason why this is a 4-star and this like fell so flat for me? And it 110% is really just the pacing. I realized, hey, this also doesn't have quotation marks, so I'm guessing this is just Sally Rooney's thing. This book is only 273 pages, and I feel like it delivers everything that needs to be delivered in the 273 pages. And this book probably should have been the same length. The pacing at the beginning is too slow, and it just completely deterred me and unmotivated me from wanting to read it and even really give it a chance. And to me, that's a big thing. Having 300 pages of inner monologue, I just can't do it, and I'm sorry. After the 275 mark, you really grow to care for these characters. And oftentimes when I care for characters, it's like I love them, I want the best for them. But in this book, every single character has major flaws. They treat each other badly sometimes, they treat themselves badly, they don't deal with their issues and problems as best as they should be doing. That really is just like the story of being human. And Rooney does a great job of showing us that these characters have really bad portions within them, but almost always they have good in their hearts and they care for the people around them. My final rating of the book is, I don't know if I want to give it a 2, a 2.25, or 2.5. I think it's sitting at a 2.25 for me right now. As for timing, I finished just ahead of 6 hours. I finished at 5 hours and 50 minutes. That is the end of this video today. Thank you everyone for sticking with me as I made myself read this book. Although it might seem like it was a really bad experience, I am super glad that I finished the book and that I did not DNF it, and I get to keep my streak of never DNFing a book. As I said at the beginning of this video, if I finish this book, I would be going to Barnes & Noble's and treating myself to a shopping spree of sorts. And my idea right now is also doing a 24-hour readathon. There's a lot of books that I've been looking at, and there's especially one book that I'm really especially looking forward to. And I'll give a short, I'll tease a little. The book is also yellow, and it's a realistic fiction book that's contemporary with a side of romance. So if you think you can figure out what book that is, let me know in the comments. Once again, thank you for being here, and hopefully I'll get to see you in the next video. Bye!